Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the Junker channel. Today, I'm going to be drawing Urgot from League of Legends. Now, originally, this was just going to be a quick sketch. I took about maybe 30 minutes to draw this entire sketch out, based off of a reference photo of a splash art. But I decided maybe I'll try to do some more digital art this time. I have the Wacom Intuos tablet, costed me like $70. I made a video on digital art earlier, but I never really, I didn't really touch it after that. I moved on to that Master Chief's drawing that hopefully you guys saw as well. And I decided, okay, maybe I should actually try to do a digital art piece this time. I don't know what else to really draw at this point now, but I've gotten into the habit of drawing other League of Legends characters. I know that sounds degenerate, but the reason why I even made this channel was because I was inspired by a YouTuber named Zook Does Stuff. I watched him as a kid, and now that I'm an adult, he hasn't uploaded in like 7-8 years. And to my understanding, he's very successful now. If you guys know Ali Abdal, I think he did work with him. He used to do work for JP something. I forget his name. I apologize. And he did work for Total Biscuit, who was huge back in the day. Yeah. Like I said, the sketch took about 30 minutes, and it originally was just gonna be a piece of about me talking about how you don't have to go crazy with the sketchbook, but then with the digital art, I realized, man, I could improve on this drawing so much more. And also, this is the last time I'm gonna do face cam, hopefully, because I realized that I'm just looking back and forth the entire time, and it looks really stupid in a time lapse. But one of the great benefits of using a digital art is, well, I can directly look at my reference picture. And second, the transform tool and the lasso tool are incredibly useful. You saw it earlier when I switched to this new session in the beginning, that I cut out the head and then elongated it a little bit because it doesn't look right. It still kind of doesn't look right. And same with the final drawing. However, I'm very satisfied with the final outcome of this digital drawing. And I've also come to the conclusion that digital art is way easier than traditional art. And the reason I say that is because all of the tools are at my disposal at this like brush presets. I have all the other tools of a great Photoshop, which is I'm using Krita for this art stuff, and Krita is an absolutely fantastic application for digital art and probably also photo manipulation. Like, it's really, really good. I would recommend it to anyone. It's free, and you don't have to pay for anything. I would definitely recommend, though, if you do digital art, you should get a drawing tablet. If you already have something like an iPad or a Samsung tablet or something like that, then just use that as well. Krita is actually on Android, so you can use Krita on Android. Although I don't know if I would recommend it. It's kind of, if your tablet's not powerful enough, it's probably not the best idea. Anyways, as you can see, I think when I'm doing digital art, I've learned that shading, starting off with like where the shadows are and the highlights are, is the best approach. At least for me. Like I said, I'm very new to this. This is like the second or third time I've done digital art. And trying to get outlines and stuff for the character, in this case Urgot, I realized that there's a slight rim light on the edge of his face. And when you're drawing, it's really hard to notice these details unless you sort of understand the principles behind all of it. What else? I also turned this image, obviously, from a picture to digital, but I grayscaled it. That was another sort of skill I learned from another YouTube artist named Daisy Van Denberg. Very, very old channel, but that's how I learned. I learned how to draw eyes from her. I think it's a woman who drew it. I'm not really sure, but What she did was she went on DeviantArt and she would try and get references on that and then grayscale that reference if it was in color. And it actually helps a lot when trying to figure out where the highlights and the shadows are supposed to be. Yeah. So this drawing took about, in total, I would say 6 hours to do. Maybe 7. I don't remember because honestly, when you're making these large time lapses, I can't sit down and draw for 8 hours straight. So you'll see that it transitions a little bit sometimes from one session to another because I do roughly about 1 hour sessions each, and I think I had 5 or 6 clips of these. So it should be roughly 6 hours. And I was very surprised with the end result because I was not expecting it to look as good as it did. Like, I was very, very satisfied with the end result. With digital art, I think getting a lot of the details is way easier, and also trying to not fake the details, but get the effect of what you're trying to draw is way easier than on digital than when you're doing with traditional. For example, as you can see with the metal part of Urgot's mask, it kind of just looks blurry and like blobby and misshapen. However, if you zoom out, it actually looks like a very well drawn metal with the light source hitting it and shadows being cast on it on the outer faceplate. So in my opinion, it looks really good. One of the things I struggled with though when I was drawing this piece was drawing Urgot's skin. He has a lot of like indentations and old man wrinkles. But I think in the end, the best way to draw those is you sort of have a dark shadow, and then you go over it with an eraser so that it looks like it's impressed into the skin like a wrinkle. But there's also a slight rim light, but the thing is that it's not supposed to have a hard edge either. It's supposed to have a very soft edge. So I think if I wanted to improve this next time, I would definitely try and focus more on those wrinkles that he has. I would also try and fix his head, because his head is too round, based off of the reference that I was using. What else? Yeah, the veins as well. I was working on that, and I realized later on in the video, or later on in the recording session, that the veins are also not supposed to be that they're not supposed to have that hard of an edge either. So I tried to keep going over it with a kneaded eraser tool, and I kind of got the effect, but at the same time, it didn't give me what I want, which I understand now looking at it why that was the case. It was because the highlight was in the middle of the vein instead of on the edge of the vein. So, something to think about for next time, I think. The most difficult part of this drawing, I think, was drawing those, I don't know what it is with Urgot. I don't know what it's called, based off of his lore. I know he's from Zon, but like that face mask where you see his, those like vials that are connected to him, the green liquid or whatever it is. I think that was the most difficult part for me because I did not understand how to I didn't fully understand how to draw liquid and glass in general. I've already explained this in another video, but glass and reflective material are sort of my weak points, unless it's metal, because metal just has a lot of high contrast, and it has a lot of rim lighting as well, so it's not too difficult to get the effect of metal. But getting the effect of glass is a little bit difficult for me, so I think I need to do more studies on that. Oh, wait, okay, he's not from Zon. Okay, let me just read a good description of him. Urgot, once a powerful Noxian headsman, Urgot was betrayed by the Empire, for which he had killed so many. Bound in iron chains, he was forced to learn the true meaning of strength in the dredge, a prison mine deep beneath Zon. Okay, he was exiled there, I guess. Emerging in a disaster that spread chaos throughout the city, he now casts an imposing shadow over its criminal underworld, raising his victims on the very chains that once enslaved him. He will purge his new home of the unworthy, making it a crucible of pain. Yeah, not much to talk about for that kind of thing. He's a typical bruiser when it comes to the MOBA stuff. If you've played Dota, I don't actually know if this is true or not, so I'm kind of speaking out of the ether here, but he's similar to Pudge, if I had to guess, from Dota. I don't know how true that is, but that's my assumption of him. Originally, the drawing was going to be bigger, like I would include his whole body, but I realized that when I was initially drawing the sketch, it would not work out. Yeah, I don't really know what else to talk about. So we're almost halfway through Ramadan at the time of writing this, at the time of recording this, and hopefully everything else will go well. Like I said, I'm very, very happy with this drawing that I made. I was very surprised with how it turned out, especially for especially since I don't have that much experience with digital art. One of the things I would improve on is learning how to draw glass properly, learning how shadows and textures work with glass. I would fix his head shot a little bit because his head is too round instead of more oblong, and I would definitely fix the shading on some of the other parts, like the parts on the glass as well. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. Like it if you like it, dislike it if you dislike it, and I hope you please check out my other videos if you're interested in art, and I'll see you later. Goodbye.